Long ago, in a time when the world was filled with mysteries and wonders, there lived a man named Moses. His story is one of faith, struggle, and divine guidance. Moses was chosen by God to lead his people, the Israelites, out of slavery in Egypt. After many trials, they escaped across the Red Sea and wandered the desert, searching for a land promised to them. But their journey was not just about finding a new home. It was about learning how to live as a people bound by sacred laws. One day, as the Israelites camped at the foot of a great mountain called Sinai, Moses climbed its rocky slopes alone. The people watched as dark clouds gathered above the peak, and thunder echoed through the valleys. Lightning flashed and the ground trembled. The mountain seemed alive with the presence of something greater than man. For 40 days and nights Moses stayed on that mountain, speaking with God. And when he returned, he carried with him 2 stone tablets, smooth, heavy, and inscribed by the finger of God himself. These were no ordinary stones. They held the 10 Commandments, the foundation of divine law. The words carved into them were not just rules, but sacred promises between God and his people. The first commandment spoke of loyalty and worship. There was to be no other God before the one true God, and his name was to be honored. The next commandments taught respect for family, for life, for truth, and for the possessions of others. These laws were not just for the Israelites, but for all of humanity, a guide to living in harmony with God and each other. But while Moses was on the mountain, something terrible happened below. The people grew impatient. Fear and doubt crept into their hearts. They gathered their gold and melted it into the shape of a calf, an idol they could see and touch. They danced and celebrated around it, forgetting the God who had freed them from slavery. When Moses came down from Sinai and saw this, his heart broke. In his anger, he threw the stone tablets to the ground, shattering them. The people had broken their covenant with God before even receiving it. Yet God, in his mercy, gave them a second chance. Moses returned to the mountain, and once more God wrote his laws upon new tablets. This time, the people listened. They built a special chest called the Ark of the Covenant to hold the sacred stones. Wherever they traveled, the Ark went with them, a reminder of their bond with the divine. The story of the stone tablets is more than an ancient tale. It is a lesson about human weakness and divine patience. Time and again, people have broken sacred laws, turning away from what is right. Yet the commandments remain, carved not just in stone, but in the conscience of humanity. They teach us that laws are not just rules to control, but gifts to guide us toward justice, peace, and truth. For centuries, people have wondered what happened to the original tablets. Some say they were lost when enemies destroyed the temple in Jerusalem. Others believe they remain hidden, waiting to be found. But their words have never faded. Even today, courts and governments base their laws on these ancient principles. The idea that no one is above the law, that truth matters, that life is sacred, all these come from the commandments given to Moses. The stone tablets were more than a message. They were a covenant, a promise between heaven and earth. They remind us that true law is not just words, but a living bond between the divine and the human. And though the stones may be lost, their message endures, written not just on rock, but on the heart of the world itself.